This is the second presentation in the series Interpreting the Bible. The title of this presentation is Messianic Generation. When speaking of the second coming of the Messiah, Jesus said, "For the Son of Man in his day will be like the lightning, which flashes and lights up the sky from one end to the other. But he first must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation." That is Luke 17:25. When interpreted literally, this passage would mean that Jesus was saying that the generation that saw the first coming of the Messiah was the same one to see the coming of the returning Lord. But is this really what Jesus meant? Did Jesus mean that his contemporaries would be the ones to see the second coming of the Son of Man, the returning Lord? It would mean so if and only if we consider the pronoun this in Luke 17:25 to mean the same. By the words this generation, Jesus did not mean that the generation of his contemporaries would be seeing the advent of the returning Lord. Rather, he meant that a generation similar to that of his contemporaries will be witnessing the advent of the returning Lord. So, what should we make of the interpretation similar generation? What makes the generation of Jesus' contemporaries and, say, our generation similar? Our generation is similar to the generation of Jesus' contemporaries in that both generations are sinful generations. They are generations made up of fallen individuals. So, when Jesus said, "But first he must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation," he did not mean the generation of his contemporaries, but the like generation of the contemporaries of the returning Lord. In other words, Jesus was saying, just like him, Jesus, that the returning Lord will be rejected by a sinful generation contemporary to him, the returning Lord. Jesus was misunderstood by a sinful generation, so will be the returning Lord. Jesus was persecuted by a sinful generation, so will be the returning Lord. Jesus was ostracized by a sinful generation, so will be the returning Lord. Jesus was believed by some of his sinful contemporaries, so will be the returning Lord. In short, the mission of the returning Lord will not be easy because he will face a generation similar to the one that Jesus faced. A generation that will not understand him, for it will be a generation influenced by Satan. Some of the contemporaries of the returning Lord will think that they are doing God's will by persecuting the returning Lord. They will think that they are protecting God's providence by rejecting the returning Lord. This means that just like the generation that saw the advent of Jesus, the first coming, the generation that will see the advent of the returning Lord will erroneously block him from fulfilling his mission. They will do all they can, all in the name of God and religion, to throw the returning Lord off track. But the reality is that just like the generation of the contemporaries of Jesus, the generation of the contemporaries of the returning Lord will be no different. It will be a similar generation, for it will reject, persecute, ostracize, misunderstand, and repeatedly seek the death of the Messiah, the returning Lord. Hence the words of Jesus, "But first he must suffer many things and be rejected by this generation." Thank you for watching. May God bless you.